What if the most powerful medical shield on Earth wasn't invented in a multi-billion-dollar pharma lab, but was eaten daily by a simple carpenter from Nazareth? Right now, heart disease is America's #1 killer, taking a life every 33 seconds. We are drowning in synthetic supplements, completely blind to the fact that the biblical record already laid out a daily menu. 10 specific, foundational foods that modern cardiologists prove can radically slash arterial plaque and reverse vascular inflammation. These aren't symbolic Sunday school lessons. They are medically validated biological armor. Today, I'm showing you the exact 10 foods Jesus ate that prevent the disease killing most Americans. Stick around, because food number 7 mimics modern blood-thinning medication so perfectly that immunologists are stunned. And food number 10 is an ancient grain matrix that modern heart guidelines are only just now catching up to. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and let's look at the plate. Food 1. Stone-ground barley. Let's start with the daily bread of ancient Galilee. When we think of the miracle of the loaves and fishes in John chapter 6, most people picture modern white bread. But the text explicitly states they were barley loaves. Barley was the grain of the common laborer. By eating this daily, Jesus was consuming the highest concentration of beta-glucan of any grain on earth. Beta-glucan is a powerful soluble fiber that forms a thick, gel-like matrix in your digestive tract. This gel binds to cholesterol-rich bile acids in your gut and physically drags them out of your body before they can be reabsorbed into your bloodstream and oxidized into arterial plaque. The FDA actually allows an explicit heart health claim on barley because its ability to lower LDL cholesterol and stabilize blood sugar is undeniable. Modern Americans eat highly refined, stripped wheat flour that spikes insulin and tears up arterial walls. Jesus ate stone-ground, slow-fermented barley that systematically scrubbed his cardiovascular system every single morning. Furthermore, this ancient grain contains vital B vitamins and selenium, which protect the heart muscle from oxidative stress. When you strip the bran and germ away, like we do in modern manufacturing, you lose the very medicine that keeps arteries flexible. The people of the biblical world didn't need clinical trials. They felt the sustained energy and vitality. It kept their blood pressure baseline stable despite grueling physical labor in the desert heat. If you are still eating processed white or modern whole wheat bread and wondering why your cholesterol is creeping up, this is the ancient switch you need to make. Swap out the modified wheat for real, whole grain barley, and let nature do the scrubbing. Food 2. First press extra virgin olive oil. In the biblical world, olive oil wasn't a luxury condiment. It was the baseline source of fat for every single meal. Jesus spent his final hours praying in Gethsemane, which literally translates to the oil press. Olive oil was in the air, on the bread, and in every stew. But this wasn't the clear, heavily processed oil you find on cheap supermarket shelves today. This was cold-pressed, cloudy, unfiltered olive oil. When you consume real extra virgin olive oil daily, you flood your body with oleocanthal and hydroxytyrosol. Oleocanthal is a polyphenol that functions almost identically to low-dose ibuprofen. It systematically shuts down the chronic, low-grade vascular inflammation that causes arterial walls to scar and trap cholesterol. Simultaneously, hydroxytyrosol protects your blood lipids from oxidative stress. Cholesterol isn't inherently dangerous until it becomes oxidized by modern seed oils and sugars. The daily presence of pure olive oil acted like a chemical Teflon coating inside the blood vessels of the ancient world. Modern cardiologists now know that the monounsaturated fats in real olive oil actively raise your HDL, the good cholesterol, while clearing out the dense, inflammatory LDL particles. It maintains the elasticity of the endothelium, which is the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. When that lining stays smooth, plaques simply cannot stick to it. Jesus and his disciples poured oil over their grains, their fish, and their legumes. They consumed it at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They didn't cook with toxic, highly inflammatory canola, corn, or soybean oils that mutate under heat and cause cellular damage. They used the pure, life-giving fat of the olive tree, protecting their hearts with every single bite. Food 3. Wild Galilean sardines and tilapia. In Luke 24, even after the resurrection, Jesus sits down with his disciples and eats a piece of broiled fish. Fish from the Sea of Galilee was a daily protein staple. Specifically, the small, cold water-adjacent fish like ancient sardines are among the densest sources of omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, found in nature. The human body cannot manufacture these essential fatty acids. They must come from the diet. Today, the standard American diet is completely overloaded with omega-6 seed oils, creating a hyperinflammatory state that ruptures blood vessels. EPA and DHA work directly on the electrical conduction of the heart, preventing the dangerous arrhythmias that cause sudden cardiac death. They lower triglycerides, reduce blood viscosity, and keep blood platelets from clumping together into dangerous clots. Jesus' breakfast on the shore wasn't just breakfast. It was a powerful, all-natural blood thinner and cardiac stabilizer. Notice also how the fish was prepared in Scripture: charcoal grilled. It wasn't battered in processed flour, deep-fried in inflammatory vegetable oils, or packed with synthetic preservatives. Direct, simple heat preserves the delicate structure of the omega-3 fats, keeping them fully intact and bioavailable. When you consume these clean, wild fats, they integrate directly into the cell membranes of your heart, muscle, and blood vessels, making them resilient to stress and inflammation. The disciples caught these fish daily and ate them fresh. This constant supply of clean marine lipids is exactly why ancient coastal populations possessed flawless cardiovascular health, entirely free from the arterial clogging that defines modern American medicine. It's time to ditch the processed meats and bring back the clean, open-fire fats of the Galilee. Food 4. Raw, crushed garlic. Garlic is woven into the very fabric of ancient Near Eastern agricultural life. It was eaten raw, crushed into olive oil, and slow-cooked into every legume. The moment you crush a clove of garlic, a chemical reaction occurs that creates a volatile sulfur compound called allicin. Allicin is nature's most potent, broad-spectrum cardiovascular medication. Clinical trials have repeatedly confirmed that regular garlic consumption behaves exactly like an organic ACE inhibitor. It relaxes the smooth muscle lining of your blood vessels, causing them to dilate and naturally lowering blood pressure. High blood pressure is the silent driver of America's heart disease epidemic, acting like a high-pressure hose tearing up the delicate inner lining of your arteries. By consuming garlic daily, Jesus maintained a naturally optimized, relaxed blood pressure baseline that protected his vascular system from structural damage. Allicin also works in the liver to inhibit the specific enzyme responsible for producing excess cholesterol, performing the exact same function as modern statin medications, but without any of the toxic side effects. The ancient world didn't use garlic sparingly as a minor flavor enhancer. They used it by the handful as a baseline medicinal food. It purified the blood, fought off systemic infections, and kept blood vessels wide open and flexible. If your daily routine doesn't include raw, crushed garlic, you are missing out on the cheapest, most effective cardiovascular shield available. To get the benefit, you can't just swallow a whole clove. You must crush or chop it and let it sit for 10 minutes to fully activate the allicin before consuming it. That is the exact chemistry the ancients used intuitively. Food 5. Chickpeas, ancient hummus. While chickpeas don't have a flashy, dramatic miracle assigned to them, they were the silent engine of the ancient Mediterranean diet. Eaten whole or ground into flour for over 10,000 years, they were a part of virtually every midday meal. Chickpeas are a masterclass in metabolic health. They are packed with resistant starch and high-density plant protein. When you eat chickpeas, they pass through your upper digestive system largely intact, meaning they cause almost zero insulin spike. Instead, they land in your colon, where your beneficial gut bacteria ferment them into short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, like butyrate. These SCFAs travel directly through your portal vein to the liver, where they literally turn off the internal switch that overproduces endogenous LDL cholesterol. America's heart disease crisis is fundamentally a metabolic crisis driven by ultra-processed carbs. The ancient chickpea was the ultimate metabolic anchor. When your body produces short-chain fatty acids, systemic inflammation drops across your entire body, including your cardiovascular lining. Furthermore, chickpeas are incredibly rich in magnesium and potassium, which are essential for keeping your heartbeat rhythmic and preventing arterial spasms. Jesus and his disciples ate chickpeas mashed with olive oil and raw garlic, creating a primitive, hyperpotent version of hummus. This combination delivered protein, healthy fats, fiber, and vasodilators all in a single serving. It provided steady, slow-burning energy that lasted for hours without causing the dangerous glucose crashes that damage arterial walls. If you want to fix your metabolism and protect your heart, you need to replace modern processed starches with this powerful, ancient, gut-healing legume. Real quick, I want to pause here because a lot of people ask me, "This is incredible, but where do I actually get these things?" The real versions, not the stripped, chemically altered supermarket copies. And that is exactly the right question to ask. Because here is the harsh truth. Most commercial olive oil is cut with cheap canola oil. Most modern grains are sprayed heavily with chemicals, destroying their cardiovascular benefits entirely. And most supermarket honey is just high-fructose corn syrup in a plastic bear. Because quality is everything when treating food as medicine, I spent months tracing down the exact heirloom, unrefined sources that mirror what was actually eaten in ancient Israel. I've linked them all in the description below so you can find the real stuff. Now, let's get back to the list, because food number 7 is going to completely change how you look at your spice cabinet. Food 6. Red lentils. Lentils are so culturally and nutritionally valuable in the biblical text that in Genesis 25, a man literally traded his entire birthright and inheritance for a single bowl of red lentil stew. Lentils deliver massive concentrations of folate, potassium, and magnesium, 3 exact minerals that the modern American diet is critically deficient in. Potassium and magnesium act as the body's natural electrical regulators. They manage the pumping mechanism of the heart muscle and keep arterial walls from constricting. Furthermore, the high folate content in lentils breaks down homocysteine, an amino acid in your blood that, when elevated by a modern diet, acts like sandpaper scratching the inside of your arteries, creating the raw wounds where cholesterol plaque is forced to build up. Eating lentils daily sweeps that dangerous amino acid away entirely. When you look at modern cardiovascular data, populations that consume lentils or similar legumes every single day show the lowest rates of heart attacks globally. The preparation method used by Jesus' mother, Mary, also matters immensely. Lentils were soaked overnight and slow-cooked with aromatic spices like cumin and coriander. This soaking process breaks down phytic acid, an anti-nutrient that binds to minerals and prevents your body from absorbing them. By neutralizing the phytic acid, the iron, zinc, and magnesium in the lentils become completely bioavailable to your cardiovascular system. This simple stew provided a massive wallop of clean plant protein without any of the inflammatory saturated fats found in modern factory-farmed meats. It kept the blood clean, the arteries clear, and the body completely fueled for hard days of labor. It's time to bring this inheritance-worthy food back to your dinner table. Food 7. Fresh and dried figs. Figs appear everywhere in the life of Jesus, from the parables he taught to the trees he walked past daily. They were the primary natural sweetener of the ancient world. But unlike the refined sugar and high-fructose corn syrup driving America's obesity and heart disease epidemics, figs are a massive source of pectin, a powerful soluble fiber, and phycin, a unique proteolytic enzyme. Pectin binds to dietary fats in the intestinal tract, preventing them from oxidizing and entering the bloodstream as dangerous triglycerides. Furthermore, figs are extraordinarily high in natural polyphenol that inhibit the oxidation of plasma lipids. Jesus didn't experience the toxic, inflammatory blood sugar spikes caused by modern processed sweets. His daily sweet treat was a mineral-dense, heart-protecting vascular shield. Modern clinical trials reveal that the specific polyphenol in figs are incredibly effective at reducing oxidative stress throughout the cardiovascular system. When you consume sugar in the form of a whole fig, it arrives packaged with an immense amount of fiber and potassium. This entirely blunts the insulin response, protecting the delicate endothelial lining of your blood vessels from glycation, the process where sugar molecules permanently damage protein fibers in your body. Figs were carried by ancient travelers across the desert as an emergency survival food because they packed tightly and never spoiled when dried. They kept the blood moving efficiently and provided instant, clean cardiac fuel. If you have a sweet tooth that is currently driving up your systemic inflammation and destroying your cardiovascular health, throw away the processed candy and start snacking on ancient, sun-dried figs just like Jesus did. Food 8. Wild greens and herbs, hyssop, mint, and cumin. In Matthew 23, Jesus mentions that the people are meticulous about tithing their mint, dill, and cumin. These weren't just decorative seasonings. They were eaten in massive, bitter green salads and stews every single day. Wild greens and ancient herbs are packed with nitric oxide precursors and quercetin. When you chew these fresh herbs, your salivary bacteria convert those natural nitrates into nitric oxide gas in your blood. Nitric oxide is a powerful vasodilator. It signals your blood vessels to expand, instantly lowering blood pressure and improving endothelial function. Quercetin, found heavily in these ancient herbs and wild onions, acts as a profound natural anti-inflammatory, protecting the heart muscle from oxidative stress and keeping blood flow smooth and uninhibited. Modern Americans have completely engineered the bitter, medicinal compounds out of our vegetables, favoring bland, sugary greens. But it's those exact bitter polyphenol that stimulate liver function and clear out excess blood lipids. Cumin, which was ground into nearly every ancient dish, contains cuminaldehyde, a compound that drastically improves insulin sensitivity and prevents advanced glycation end products from scarring your arterial walls. Hyssop and mint were used to calm the digestive tract and purify the blood of toxic, inflammatory markers. By heavily spicing his food with these wild, potent herbs, Jesus was continuously flooding his bloodstream with natural anti-clotting and anti-inflammatory compounds. Your spice cabinet shouldn't just be for flavor. It is your primary defense line against the vascular oxidation that leads directly to heart attacks. Start heavy-handing your herbs today. Food 9. Pomegranates. Pomegranates were so revered in the biblical world that they were carved into the very pillars of King Solomon's temple and embroidered onto the robes of the high priests. Jesus consumed this fruit fresh and pressed into juices throughout his life. Modern cardiology is absolutely obsessed with the pomegranate today, and for one specific reason: punicalagins. Punicalagin is an antioxidant found almost exclusively in pomegranates. Clinical trials have shown that daily consumption of pomegranate juice can actually reverse carotid artery stenosis, meaning it can literally help dissolve the existing, hardened fatty plaque buildup that has already formed on arterial walls. While modern processed snacks clog American arteries, this ancient fruit was actively cleaning them out, molecule by molecule. When punicalagins enter your gut, your microbiome metabolizes them into compounds called urolithins, which travel through your bloodstream and trigger mitophagy, the cleanup and renewal of damaged cellular components inside your heart tissue. This increases the energy output of your cardiac cells and keeps the heart muscle pumping with youthful efficiency. Pomegranates also drastically increase the activity of an enzyme called PON1, which physically prevents HDL cholesterol from breaking down and losing its protective qualities. The ancient Israelites built temples around this fruit because they watched it work. They saw how it restored vitality to the weary and kept the elderly sharp and strong. It is one of the most powerful, evidence-backed tools in existence for cleaning out years of damage caused by the modern standard American diet. Drink it raw, eat the seeds, and clear your lines. Food 10. The combination of the 7 sacred foods. And finally, we reach the ultimate daily meal foundation, the food system commanded directly by God in Deuteronomy 8, verse 8, which Jesus lived by. The 7 specific agricultural pillars of the land: wheat, barley, grapes, figs, pomegranates, olives, and dates. For thousands of years, people looked at this list as a mere sign of agricultural wealth. But modern nutritional biochemistry has realized something completely mind-blowing. These 7 foods together form a flawless, complete anti-aging and heart disease-preventing matrix. The grains provide the slow-burning, clean energy and beta-glucans to clear cholesterol. The grapes and pomegranates deliver the resveratrol and punicalagins to protect blood vessels from oxidation. The figs and dates provide the mineral baseline of potassium and magnesium to steady the heart's rhythm. And the olives provide the healthy monounsaturated fat required to make every single one of those vitamins and antioxidants bioavailable to your cells. It is a mathematically perfect cardiovascular defense system in a single bowl. The amino acid profiles of the ancient grains perfectly complement the dense mineral matrix of the fruits, creating a complete protein structure without any inflammatory vascular baggage. The fat-soluble nutrients from the olives are delivered directly alongside the water-soluble vitamins from the fresh grapes, maximizing cellular absorption. This is not a coincidence. It is the most nutritionally precise menu in human history. The ancient world didn't need randomized clinical trials to know what worked. They had thousands of years of deep, intuitive feedback from their own bodies. They paid attention to what brought life, and they built their culture around it. If you want to stop gambling your health on modern, ultra-processed food experiments and return to a time-tested, medically validated blueprint, the sources for all of these authentic, ancient heirloom foods are right there in the description below. Drop a comment and let me know which of these 10 foods you are adding to your kitchen today and which one surprised you the most that I read and reply to every single one. If you haven't subscribed to Nature's Garden Vault yet, smash that button right now. We are just getting started. I'll see you in the next video.